Man, you guys hear about John Gruden?
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Dude, the Trump campaign just picked him up for 2024. They said they like his style. Oh, we are rolling. Welcome back. Trust the process. Week, whatever, doesn't matter. Yeah, we're here. Me, Jake. We got an absolutely special guest today. The man behind the barbecue, as we like to call him, Mr. Joel Kennedy. How you doing, Joel?
Oh, fantastic. Thanks for having me on.
Of course, man. It's an honor. It was your idea, your feedback that said have a guest every week. We finally get you here. We're happy to have you.
Might as well start with the worst.
Sure. Jake, how'd we look last week?
Yeah, last week, well, first I want to say welcome to the meat master himself, Mr. Kennedy. Thanks for joining us.
Hey,
It was your idea, and then it took twisting your arm a million times to get you here, but you're here, so glad to have you. Last week, we can get right into it. We had me versus Meech, the game that ended up being a lot closer than I wanted it to be. But I did win that one. We both had me winning that, so both right on that. It was real close.
Before you move on, if Saquon plays one full quarter, I win this matchup.
100%. 100%.
But shout out Mark Andrews and Justin Herbert. Otherwise, I would have got my socks absolutely blown off. So
yeah, you had
got a few
Mark
duds in
Andrews
there.
had 6 points or something when I checked at like the second quarter, and I was like, all right, we're cool, it's all fine. And I stopped watching the game till about the fourth quarter and realized I was not fine.
yeah.
I mean, yeah.
A lot closer than I wanted it to be. Nonetheless, we come out with a victory. We had Najee versus the Lonely Boys. That one went again as expected. We both had Najee winning. We were both right there. Sorry, Joe, your team took a little L.
Hey, I broke 100.
Hey, speaking of this, you know how much you would have broke if you would have started 11 active players?
Facts.
The day
All
I
right.
send out the message about starting players who are out, Joel says,
Throw
you
in,
know what?
throw in my next highest. Would I have won?
Fuck this guy is what Joel said.
If you throw in Alexander Madison over, you would have been at least closer.
I'm
Yeah.
just giving you shit, Joel. It's fine.
You
Everyone
know-
else has done it this year.
I figured I might as well get them before the rules change. You know,
Before
a bottom
the
feeder.
fines
I
start
just
coming.
no, exactly. No, actually, I was balls deep in this new world and just didn't even check my phone.
That happens to the best of us.
Fair enough. New game grind, baby.
Yep.
Either way, we were both right on that. Jason versus Schneidi. This is where we split on the week. You had Jason coming out on top here, and Jason did the opposite and was the somehow not the lowest scorer of the week, but he only put up 88 points. We have Bordeaux versus Joe. We both had Joe winning it, riding that train of his team being the dark horse. He put up a valiant effort, but he just couldn't quite get there.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with 140.
140 and you can't come out on top. I mean,
Yeah,
you can't feel
that's
too bad
rough.
about that.
Yeah, that would suck, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it definitely would suck for somebody like you. But no, Joe's team's still showing out, putting up some points. I mean, he was number 5 in scoring on the week. Going into Stu versus Josh, we both had Stu winning that one. Easy enough. Josh's team is going to be putting up some sad numbers the rest of the way out, so easy win. Macon versus the Outlaws. Macon won that one pretty easily. He was the high scorer of the week, 160. Dude just puts up points. For some reason, the old heads just keep coming through.
Yeah. Oldest team on the market, but still producing
easily. And he didn't even have a stud game from Kelsey or anything like that. He just puts up points. It's ridiculous.
Hey, I'm gonna bet on Father Time. Give me Father Time in this battle.
Yeah, we're learning that's the way as he continues to just stomp through people. So that was the end of the week. So we both had a call wrong. We split a call and then we were right. That put me at 21-3 on the season. You at 18-6. So you're right behind me, not too far. Maybe this week you have a few that split the difference. But yeah, so that was last week's recap. Just an overview of this week's matchups. Couple 4-1 teams going at it. Couple teams that need some wins coming. We'll dive into the activities, everything that happened this week. We had a couple claims. So David Njoku, is it David Njoku? Yeah, Njoku went to Jason. He won the bid with $41, I want to say. Pretty high bid for a tight end who really hasn't proven himself. He had a big game, but he did outbid J-Rod, who only put $5 on that. Maybe a good stash. I don't know. What do you think on that?
Non-factor.
Yeah,
He might start on Jason's team. He wouldn't on any other really good teams. Nothing I'm concerned about right now.
yeah. Not to make the statement of that's what you get when you get rid of Hawkinson, but that's what happens when you get rid of Hawkinson.
Life
and
comes
then-
at you fast.
yeah, you're pulling tight ends off of a dynasty waiver wire. So, and then the big claim, obviously, you had the big trade for Saquon last week. The Quad Father was the team name for all of 3 days before he was hurt in the first quarter.
It was bad. I changed my team name back so fast.
Immediately.
I
saw
felt
that.
responsible.
But you did outbid 4 others to take Devontae Booker. You have the handcuff. You have the player everybody wants, at least for a few weeks until he gets healthy. They're saying a few weeks, but the size of that ankle leads me to believe we may be in for a while without him.
The ankle looked bad, but as far as I know, we're filming this Thursday night. They haven't ruled him out for this week even. He's just listed as doubtful. So that tells me that he might not actually be out that long. At the same time, the Giants play 4 more games, then have a bye week. It would make a lot more sense. And for my dynasty purposes, Saquon, just wait, come back after the bye, get your 5-6 weeks of rest, no rushing back. We need you for playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, we know what he can do when he's 100% healthy, and that one's not injury prone on that. He got rolled up on. That's not his fault. It is what it is. He'll come back healthy, and we've seen what he can do when he's healthy. He started really ramping up here those couple games before you picked him up. So, but you got the handcuff. That was the big one. We did have the most league activity on a claim, I think, up except for Elijah Mitchell when I took that one. So yeah, that was kind of the last one. We did only have one trade to go over this week, and it was a head scratcher for me for someone who claims they're so good at fantasy football.
He doesn't really say that, does he? Come on.
I mean, it's implied, but he did end up grabbing Darrell Henderson in a second rounder, sent over a first rounder to Josh's team for it. What do you make of the trade? I mean, I obviously have some opinions, but
Stu is that guy who at the pickup basketball game, he just sits on the sidelines and talks shit the whole time. And that's pretty much what he's done to this fantasy football league since he's joined. And for this brief moment, he got on the court and got fucking dunked on. My God, there is a reason you have sat on the sidelines for a year. Just get comfy and stay over there, because this shit ain't for you, bro. This ain't it.
Yeah.
A first for Darrell Henderson? Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see if he needed points. If he needs points and needs a fill spot, but he
needs 100 points.
Running.
Darrell Henderson ain't doing that.
We can pull up his roster real quick to see how he's looking. I mean, he's got Dalvin Cook. He made that move last season. Josh Jacobs, mediocre. I mean, to his defense, he doesn't really.
I could see if he was
backs.
really shooting for it, but not in a spot like he is.
Man, he needs to get that gun sighted then, because I don't know what you're shooting for here. He's shooting for a middle of the pack pick right now.
He should just change his name to LOL. Good season.
Right.
Yeah, because he's writing it on the wall pretty quick. The only question, I mean, really, he has a stud running back, and there's only one running back you absolutely have to start every week. So why give up such a valuable asset as a first rounder? Literally the only picks I feel have a super high importance in Dynasty are the first rounders. You get a couple lucky ones later on, but why give that up?
Whose first pick was that?
It was his first round pick for 2023. So it'll be
a good pick
from now. But you look at his team, they aren't a bunch of spring chickens. They're gonna be old. Like, that pick could potentially be top 5, I could see.
Yeah. And so it's it was an interesting pick. Maybe we'll get him on one of these weeks and he can really explain why he thought that was a good idea. Stu, unfortunately, I am not behind you on this pick. It was rather foolish. You gave up an asset for someone who, one, has been hurt and missed time already. Two, is in an offense that next week Sony Michelle could be the lead back of, knowing a McVay offense and what he does. They're not all Todd Gurley, and we've seen that since Todd Gurley left the Rams. So,
yeah, at best, you're looking at what, a rest of the year rental in a timeshare for a first. And I know he's going to say, oh, I got a second in return. Man, no one cares about like the 20th overall pick.
Like you said, especially in 2022, where the draft isn't that deep to begin with,
Right.
We're going to see a lot more real football talent drafted this year than we are skill players. That's just the nature of it. We're going to see, it's going to be linemen, it's going to be linebackers, cornerbacks. That's what this draft is for. There's real no top end fantasy football talent for us going into this next year. So
they'll fit right in on Stu's team.
Yeah, true. He could take a nice outside linebacker for his roster. But yeah, so we can get into it. That was really a pretty slow week for us overall. We can get into the matchups for week 6. All right, let's get started here. Jacob versus Najee. Got the matchup here. I'm projected to win 146-139. I'll let you go ahead and break it down. What do you think? And then I'll follow up.
I'm super excited for this matchup. Najee, I think, is probably like the second favorite behind you. I know there's a couple of us up there now, but I love Najee's team, the way he's been building. Your team, obviously, though, you just got an absolute powerhouse. So it should be a really good matchup. I'm going to go with you, Jake, simply because you're projected more and the projections have never been wrong.
Yeah, they haven't been too bad. Actually, Flea Flicker's been pretty impressive in that point. The projections seem to be pretty spot on for what we're going for. I too have myself winning. I'm never going to bet against myself with a roster this stacked. That's just how it's going to be probably all season, unless something drastically changes. I do not enjoy seeing all the question marks week in and week out, but that's what happens when you have a team full of studs.
The Q stands for queer, according to John Gruden.
Oh, hit him with it. So we're on the same page there. Next matchup, we have Jason versus the Lonely Boys. Joel,
bottom of the barrel.
What do you see coming in for your team this week, man? What do you got?
Dude, it's gonna be a shootout between both these high caliber teams. I don't know. I really like to see Jason win here for sure. It's going to be a close one, though, I feel like. I mean, projections, point off. I'd say Jason wins it.
I'm going to take Joel.
I too am going to take Joel. Sorry, Joel, your tank effort is just really not going your way week in and week out early on here. You've got a couple wins, and you're about to be 500 after this week.
I got one win. Oh, no, I got 2. Ooh.
Yeah, you're 2 and 3.
See?
I'll pull up the standings here once we're done with this week's matchups. We can kind of look at where things are shaking out.
Standings and points for, yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, we can do all that right at the end here. But unfortunately, you are taking a W this week. Buckle up. You got some talent on your team, and unfortunately, they're going to lug you to these victories against the bottom of the barrel. You just better hope to finish more towards the bottom for that higher draft picks.
Hey, before we jump off this screen, shout out to Jason. Look at his young wide receiver core there. Boyd, Claypool, Kadarius, Tony, Pittman. That's 4 talented dudes. Like, if they got in better situations or their situations improved, he might actually have something.
IRs. 9? Is that 9 IRs? Wow.
Let's give him his praise while he's got it. He's definitely looking good. When we had him on the show and he kind of talked about some of his moves, we obviously gave him a little bit of shit, as we always do with everybody that comes through. But he has some nice young talent. He's got a nice solid quarterback who just got a new deal. Like, he's in a good spot for the future. It's just he's got to capitalize on these next few picks. This next couple of seasons, he's just got to have a few things fall his way. And he said it last week. 2 years from now, he'll be in a good spot.
Yeah, that's how you rebuild right there. He's looking a lot better.
Take notes, too. So going into the next matchup, which we're on the same page with that one, by the way. Joel wins. We have your matchup, Meech Bordeaux versus Big Meech. The quad father, previously known as the quad father, going up again. Saquon out of the lineup. What do you have? What do you see for your team here?
I got to keep an eye on Joe Mixon. I don't think he practiced today, but we got some guys we can slide in. Yeah, I like my chances. I have a lot of really good matchups this week. And two, Bordeaux has a couple of queers over there, and Damian Williams is on the COVID list. So, yeah, I like my chances. I'm gonna back my boys.
Yeah, I have you winning. I was looking at these beforehand, doing my prep work. If he has to pull Damian Williams, which I'm assuming he's not playing, going on the COVID list this late in the week, he doesn't really have anybody to replace him. So those points are just going to continue to drop. It's pretty much a freebie spot up against you. So I just don't see the depth working out for him there. He's got a couple of bye weeks that are hurting him, but just not going to come through with a lack of depth. So we're on the same page with that one. Next matchup, we have Stu versus Schneidi, LOLGG, Mr. Henderson's new home, going up against one of the bottom teams in the league. What do you see coming here?
Look, as much crap as I give Stu, I don't think his team is bad enough to lose to Schneidi. So I'm going to take Stu here. But Schneidi's team is looking hot. Jonathan Taylor had a great week last week. Dawson Knox breakout. Third-year tight end breakout, man. It was actually fairly predictable. His athletics and his measurables are awesome. Great out of the combine. Now he's got 3 years in the system. Good young quarterback. He could be a perennial top 5 tight end, I think, moving forward. The new age Travis Kelce.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know if I'm ready to give him that tag, but I definitely see him as a stud. I know coming out 2 years ago, I was pretty high on him. I kept him stashed on my redraft league before we had this league because he had so much promise. He's one of those second, third, fourth rounders in a dynasty draft that works out for you. That's a clear example of somebody like that. But yeah, I mean, his team, he's got some names, he's got some talent. It's not there yet. He's got a couple drafts away from really competing. Let's just hope he gets another win or two on the season, keep the morale up, keep them engaged. So we both have Stu on that one. That one's pretty straightforward. Second to last matchup, the Outlaws of J-Rod's White Claws. The 0-5, the perennial bottom of the barrel, giving somebody the number 1 pick versus Broken Step team. What do you see going here?
Man, if I didn't know J-Rod was not your brother Noah or Gonzo, I would think this is for sure one of those two managing this team. Give me Joe here. His team's been hot. I think he's probably been averaging 125 a week right now. But he's looking good. So I'm going to take Joe.
Yeah, I mean, it's the way it's gonna go. J-Rod, unfortunately, is talking to him earlier this week. He said, "I can't wait to listen to the podcast again for you guys to say J-Rod's gonna lose, and that's just the way it's gonna go." So there you are, J-Rod. That's just unfortunately the way it's gonna go for you, probably for most of the season here, until you face your brother, the Schneidis. So
the Schneidi Bowl.
The Schneidi Bowl. Can't wait for that week. Last matchup of the week for us to go over is Josh's team, the 4-string running backs, going against Mr. Macon and Father Time himself. Your thoughts?
Man, I got Macon moves winning this one. He's projected to win by 45. It's probably more like 60. Like, this shouldn't be close.
Yeah, no, that's big facts. Father Time, Mr. Macon, your team just keeps getting blessed with points week in and week out. Your studs aren't falling off yet. Derrick Henry's still absolutely beasting on everybody who comes in front of him. Tom Brady is literally ageless, putting up monster performances week in, week out. He's going to keep winning. He's going to be up in the playoffs. He's going to be a problem. He's going to be a pest. But when his team falls off, it's going to fall hard. That
Go right
is,
into a retirement home.
yeah, no shit. So this week we're all the same, you know. So going in, we'll keep the same gap. Hopefully, we just have a better winning record. Go 6-0 this week. So as per every episode, we ask our guests for a hot take of the week. Joel, what do you got for us?
So I believe after this week, we're going to have no more winless teams. Lions are going to get their first win against Cincy, which is probably the Lions are probably the best 0-5 team to date that I've seen, that we have all seen. They're just getting unlucky. And then
like it.
the Jags, you know, home state rival Dolphins, they're I see them pulling off a win.
I like it. 2 NFL picks.
Two pick'ems going against the grain. I like it. I like you rooting for the hometown boys. I've been a Lions fan my whole life. That's why the NFL has always been about fantasy and never real football. Because I really can't enjoy my team yet for another couple of years. At least Dan Campbell's going in the right direction.
Man, think about that fall from the Jaguars, though. And it was like 3 years ago. They had Jalen Ramsey and Miles, the linebacker. And they were in the championship game. And, like, man, they're almost in that Super Bowl 3 years ago. And now they're, like, about to go 0-16 with a head coach cheating on his wife.
You're talking about back when Mr. Bortles was running the show.
Mr. Bortles, yes, sir.
Blake himself was leading that team to victory. No, they had it was a Bouye. They had so much talent on that defensive end. It's unfortunate they couldn't run into, you know, they had Big Rennie, just giving him the ball 20 times a game. He was putting up monster numbers. They just didn't have anyone catching the ball from Mr. Bortles himself. And he, as Mr. Bortles might have been an issue too, not a real championship caliber quarterback. Joel, you said you wanted to look at kind of an overview of where we're at this season with points for and stuff. So I got it put up right here.
Dude, Father Time, man, always putting points up.
Yeah, the points for leader right now, 669.9 points for him. Massive, just massive. Averaging 106 or 133 a game.
Crazy. It's a long season, though. Give me all those 30-plus-year-old guys. I want to see them in week 15 and 16. Like, how many of them are still playing then?
True. Lonely Boys, you just to give you kind of your numbers here.
Hey, breaking 100.
You're averaging 104 a game. You're hitting that triple digits, baby. Probably don't want to be looking to tank, but you are. And then the average points against is only 101, though. You've had a rather light schedule. Your opponents haven't made it easy for you to lose.
He's the one above that. He's averaging 113 again.
Oh, 113. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, you are sitting 7th place right now, just out of playoffs, man. Hopefully they can make your dreams come true and keep handing you L's, though.
Speaking of that, Joel, what's the direction of your team? What are you hoping to accomplish this year?
I might try and flip another guy or two, get a couple more picks or something younger, but everything I'm sending out, nobody's interested in right now. So I'll just keep tanking away best I can.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I got some injuries myself, and
you got some injuries, but you got some talent too, man. You picked up CEH from me those couple of games before he got hurt after I traded him. He looked a lot better.
I mean, you got to think my first overall pick was Michael Thomas 2 years ago, and he's played 3 games for me. So, I mean, that's my first pick literally gone of our whole draft. And that first draft is huge with a dynasty like this. Like,
yeah,
I guess I didn't realize it then, but it makes it like you really got to think about it.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's been one of the reasons I think enjoy doing this podcast is last season, just to give some perspective to why I'm really enjoying this, is like last season when the inaugural season, a lot of us, Joel, Stu, myself, I think this was your first dynasty for just about everybody, or at least half the league. So we didn't really know what we were getting into. We kind of had an idea, and we took, what we thought was the best. Obviously, Zach did it like a redraft league with a bunch of 30-year-olds, but just to see the progression, people making moves, people starting to kind of see where they fall. Like I feel this 12-man group is really starting to invest in it. And it's making it real exciting. I just see going down the stretch and stuff, and week in and week out, we're gonna find some things to talk about, and it's got me real excited. So
Yeah, I love the activity level from the league in general. Almost every person is making some type of move every week. It seems like they're putting in claims, they're making trades. I think a lot of people, like you said, are kind of getting in the groove of it. They're figuring out, oh, okay, if I'm not going to win, I want to get young, I want to get picks, or or they're learning the opposite. They're saying, wow, I really can go for this, and they're making moves to go that direction. So overall, I know we've all been in other leagues probably that aren't as active, and it just makes things a little more dry. So I just love that everybody seems to be in it. And like you said, invested in the league for sure.
yeah, no, it's exciting, and it gives us something to talk about week in, week out. It was a rather light week this week. Post trade deadline, we won't have much going on either, but we have a lot of good matchups. We have a lot of good middle of the pack teams. And a lot of teams that can just surprise you week in, week out, give you a ton of points and really upset somebody. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, definitely. So Joel gave us his hot takes already. He said he's got the Lions winning this weekend and the Jaguars winning this weekend. As a Lions fan, I'm kind of conflicted. Like, I kind of want him to win one, I think, but I also want him to get a really good draft pick. So I'm good either way. But if we are going to win one, we probably should win it against Cincinnati because they aren't very good either. But yeah, those are the hot takes for the week. That wraps up everything else for us. Joel, thank you for hopping on here with us.
My pleasure. Thank you.
That does it for us. With that, Jake, give us a good goodbye here. Send us home.
Yeah, let's have another great week. Let's hope for some upsets. Give us something to talk about. Keep Gruden out of your GM's offices, and we'll be good to go. Have a great week, everybody.